Hello and welcome to the No More Heroes 3 Spoilercast made by GigaBoots. We have the usual crew here. I'm your host, Dan Video Games, and with me is Bob.
Kill.
From GigaBoots. KZ from KZExcellent.com.
Yes! Kill!
And Mr. Feel from Mr. Feel's Wild Ride.
I love you too. Now fuck off!
For anyone who hasn't tuned into one of these before, what happens is, at first, we will give a two-sentence summary of vaguely how we feel, accompanied by a sound. We will then dive in with deep anecdotes and stories, talking about our experiences playing through the game. And then at the end, you get a more thorough summary and a score from each of us, able to add up to a maximum possible number of 40. We're going to go ahead and start our initial summaries with Bob. Bob? What did you think of No More Heroes 3?
Gameplay-wise, it has tons and tons of problems that are very obvious. But the story is really interesting and good, and definitely what you expect from Suda. Nothing quite like it. I'm going to give it a... Okay.
Okay. We now move on to KZ from KZExcellent.com.
It has some issues, like that open world. Oh my god. Especially during certain parts of it, but the story, general Suda-isms, the music, and the combat is some of the best stuff that he's put out, in which I enjoyed my time with that. So I'm gonna give it a
Okay, we now move on to Mr. Feel.
This game runs really bad, but I love basically every other part of it, so I'm gonna give it a
This game is like oil and water in a very fascinating way because it's an action game that has an open world seemingly attached onto it like a weird growth. I think it's a very interesting experience. I'm going to give it a And now we're going to move on to deep cutting anecdotes. This is just the first fucking thing I need to say. I will pay whatever price is necessary to get this on the PS5. That is almost all of my complaints boil down to. And then the Switch ran at 5 frames per second and loaded forever. But yeah, anyway, I think the fact that they separated the action elements into completely segregated rooms and sequences so it could run well was probably the best possible choice given the hardware they were running on. Because you do see a lot of action games that do not run well and just sort of go, yeah, but it's fine. We have an ambitious design. You know, like in Astral Chain.
Yeah.
And I wish Astral Chain was the only one, but there are many others where it's like, I wish I could just disappear to a combat room over this. Would you make me wish that? That's kind of sad, but No More Heroes 3 does a really good job of all these boss battles are happening in areas that mostly run smoothly. But that was like my number one takeaway that I really enjoyed. Like, this is the first No More Heroes with like a developed combat system. You know, No More Heroes 1 and 2 have very, very reductive ideas of like building out combos or whatever. Whereas I think this, with all the abilities and the better feeling gameplay and everything, is the first like No More Heroes game, and ostensibly an action game in the way it's fleshed out. And I find it extremely enjoyable. Bob, what was your number one takeaway after finishing this game?
Yeah, the combat still isn't enough to make me like enjoy it. It still feels like it's a ton of like, here's a bunch of random things like roulettes, and you only have one combo string for light attack, one combo string for heavy attack, and then my personal playthrough, instead of the one we did on stream, I went into upgrading all the skills first.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those are bad.
Oh no!
Every one of those feels bad to do.
Oh.
And doesn't really feel beneficial in any way.
Yeah, I went up to like, I stopped before get the one that makes you do another roll. And I just kept
the million stabs felt useful sometimes.
It also felt random when it would actually go off. So it's impossible to get him out of it, unlike most of the other light hit combos. It's like, I hit the button twice and you're doing the million stab, and I'm not sure why.
You hit them really close to each other.
So that, and then the double roll just not activating most of the time, was like, man, these shouldn't be here. But yeah, it just isn't where it needs to be for an action game, I don't think. But everything else about the game elevates it. Like, okay, this isn't a good action game. I'm basically playing a bad PS2 action game, but everything else is kind of incredible.
I don't know that this sinks to the low of a bad
Yeah,
PS2 action
no,
game. I think you're overreaching there, my
Off the
friend.
mark.
I think it's closer to like an acceptable PS2 action
Yeah,
game.
I would put it
Yeah,
as
it's a mid PS2 action game.
yeah, I would put it as middle or middle upper PS2 action game because man, some of those are fucking dire.
Yes.
If we're like playing
I'd
bad
certainly-
PS2 action, I'm like, you gonna go back and play Drakencard?
That's a whole nother. That
That's a
exists
bad
in a
PS2
realm of
action
its
game.
own.
That's a Yoko Taro game made by that company. That's hardly an action game at all.
What, does it get the caveat buff of just being in hell?
Bob's trying to say
Yes.
it transcends genre.
Yes.
I would definitely rather play No More Heroes 3 than Nano Breaker or Beat Down Fists of Vengeance or that Rome one that Capcom made.
Yeah, there's a number of PS2 action games I can think of that are definitely lower than this. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, action games where your character doesn't move forward at all when you attack. So you're just like, no, you missed because my guy's going to stand perfectly still while swinging a sword. But, you know, I understand that this isn't competing with Devil May Cry
Right,
on a depth level in the least.
Right, like I feel like, say, the Castlevania, like the second Castlevania game on PS2 feels a lot better, which isn't a great place to be.
You think?
Yeah.
I feel like having the death skills be multiple different things you could do at any time instead of the innocent devil proc after so many hits being the only ancillary thing.
Right, but the death skills don't... It feels like there should be more to them.
You think?
Like, yeah, because I just have, okay, you can do slow down time right around you or put out this field that'll shoot them slowly. And then that one has the weird thing of like, okay, well, in the middle of one of your finisher moves, it can kill them instead, so it doesn't feel satisfying at all.
That is hilarious every
Yes.
time it happens. It took me a while to figure out what was going on.
Oh.
I think it happened twice, and I was like, why did he not actually get killed by what was clearly my killing animation? Oh, a tiny rain bullet from the
Yeah.
rainstorm just kill-stilled me right at the end.
This game doesn't have like super deep or great mechanics, but I think I really like the way it feels most of the time because I do think it feels really different from most action games. Mostly because it slows down so you can slowly behead everyone, which I think elevates it a lot.
Yes.
I think there are interesting ways to set up the death skills because, you know, you start an encounter, you can immediately do like the death kick to knock one person out of the encounter range, throw down a slowing time thing, pull up a rainstorm, and pull that guy back. And now you've got all 3 or 4 enemies just sitting there with one of them having the shit thoroughly kicked out of them.
Yeah.
Because you can stop them in midair from the throw by hitting them with your sword. So there is a lot of spacing stuff you could do a little bit with that. But yes, I think it's a really enjoyable extra layer to the combat, personally.
I really like the death glove moves, but all of them except the rain just utterly be-clown every enemy, even most of the bosses. Where it's just like, I'm gonna knock you down now, and now I'm gonna slow down time, so you're getting up really slowly.
What are you
and
talking-
I'm just going to beat on you until you cry.
I don't know what you're talking about. Gil has just already gotten to the point where on the highest difficulty, he's doing a single 400 plus combo to beat the final boss of the game.
Yeah, it was
Jesus.
really funny when I finally learned, oh yeah, the gravity pull and push death glove move, if a boss does a really large telegraph projectile, you just use that and it hits them and immediately stuns them for a wrestling move.
Yep.
What?
Yep,
you
that's
fight-
how you do it.
I
That's-
never figured that out.
When you hit the number 1 title fight against Fu, he has that big spirit bomb move. If you at any point just do that move, it just hits him and then he's immediately stunned.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard about that, so I tried to do it, and it's real finicky to get to actually lock onto the projectile, but if you do, it just works. It's just figuring out when it lets you do it.
Yeah.
I had been intending to go through all the bosses on Carolina Reaper mode, and I only got up to like the 4th one before I had to do other things, but I had fun with that. If nothing else, this game has the problem which a lot of games have, where it's like normal starts out as normal, and then it becomes easy. And then hard starts out as hard, and then it becomes normal. I legitimately couldn't tell any difference between bitter and spicy on those boss refights when I was doing them. Like, I couldn't tell it anything.
It's pretty negligible once you have the full set of skills, especially
if you're fighting Gold Joe, who you can just repeatedly throw into his own fence and make him cry.
Yes.
I love the mechanic. That really hit me because I started the game and fought that first dude, the black hole.
Mr. Black Hole.
I was about to call him Black Hole Johnson. When I was fighting that guy and I died on his first phase, like 5 times at least, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Because the game starts and goes, here's your dodge. We don't want you to use that in this fight at all.
Yeah.
We want you to jump.
We want you to jump.
Excuse me?
I feel like the readability of his projectile wave is also really harsh because I too, and you can see it on stream, I too died to that boss like 4 times because reading that wave's a little difficult and you're still getting used to jumping as an evasive action. Mm-hmm. And now it's this entire boss will not let you continue with the rest of the game until you nail that down. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is like Driver on the PS1, and it's just the first thing you must do is be a master of driving. Then we will let you leave the parking garage. And I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's really weird because the jump doesn't even keep you in air long at all.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's real finicky. But I fought Mr. Black Hole on Carolina Reaper mode, and I don't know what does this. I don't understand how he works. I only fought him 3 times. You know, bitter, spicy Carolina Reaper. I guess I killed both his arms, so the only attacks he would do are the one where he flies through the portals at you, and the big wave.
Huh.
He would not do any other attacks. And I'm like, when do I hit him?
Oh, okay. You can kill his arms. I only went through it that one time when I was playing through it. So my big takeaway was this is really hard, and I'm going to flawlessly beat the next 4 title fights.
Yeah.
Which kind of made him feel really lopsided, where I'm like, I don't know, maybe you should have made Gold Joe the easiest motherfucker on the block the first fight.
Yeah.
I died to Gold Joe. First of all, Gold Joe deals a shitload of damage, so he has strength.
Okay, yeah, he did hit me. The one time I did not change to the opposite polarity of the magnet. I was like, oh god. Oh man, does he hurt? But other than that, and then you just kind of
Gold Joe killed me twice. He killed me twice. Once I just wasn't paying attention, and he hit me with 3 of those gems that slam into each other, and it just took me from full health to dead instantly.
This game likes that. This game likes stacking damage and instantly killing you if it can.
The second time is in his last phase, he has the move where it's like, well, if you have the same polarity as me, which normally in every other circumstance is good, in this circumstance it's actually bad, and I slam you into the wall and you instantly die.
Yes, I had that happen to me too. But it is super weird that the black hole guy is so much harder. Like, I got all the way to Kimmy Love, and I with that boss fight, I rolled 2 Mustang modes in a row, and she just died.
No.
Yeah.
That is how it goes sometimes.
Yeah,
that even happened to me on a Carolina Reaper fight, where it's just like I got Mustang twice. Yeah. On I don't even remember his name, Ninja Man, who gives you all the Death Glove attacks. I'm like, this isn't even a fight. I just humiliated him on the hardest difficulty.
Yeah, that slot really just opens up moments of you just squashing something. I did one of the I forget what they call the fights that are in the circles that you're supposed to find before you're allowed to do the title
Designation fights, I think.
Yeah.
Designated.
Yeah, the designated fights. I got one toward the end that was real hard because like the combo of enemies they have was like terrible. And I'm like, this is going to be really rough, guys. My next attempt, they gave me 2 Suplex City fucking power-ups on the slots in a row. So I just kept throwing over, and I got through 4th wrestling moves, and then they're like, you got it again. You haven't run out yet. So I just did that the entire time, and it just folded the entire encounter. So sometimes the RNG in the game just lets you win.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, the RNG is insanely overpowered. Like, that shit should be a lot more moderate.
No, I love it.
I respect it. I have huge respect for just, why would I make it less likely to give you incredible power-ups on the hardest difficulty? That's the coward's way. It's the same on every mode.
Yeah, it's fuck you, Mustang mode. Just mash that button and just go, ooh!
I also wish that the slots didn't take the entire screen up. So every time I kill them, you're like, I can't see the next one thing that's hitting me.
See, I find visual design like that hilarious. I see it as, yeah, the difficulty here is you can't fucking see.
Yes. You got hit
I
with the
didn't
blooper in
have
Mario
that
Kart.
problem.
Yes, you got hit by the blooper in Mario Kart because you killed a man.
But I also basically didn't block at all in the entire game.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it helps
I have a
with
dodge.
Gold Joe. If you don't reverse the polarity in time, you could just block.
Yeah, if that happened a couple times on Carolina Reaper, I'm just like, oh, I'm just dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I beat Gold Joe and I think Mr. Black Hole in every difficulty. But then I went to do the open world stuff and try to complete that before I did the rest of the bosses. And
I beat everybody up to rank 4 on every difficulty.
okay.
Except death. I haven't done death yet because I'm like, I don't know. That seems like it's really gonna be if you get hit at all, you just instantly explode.
Is death the difficulty mode, or is that a boss? I don't
Death is
remember?
the last. It's the last difficulty mode above Carolina Reaper. If you go to the time machine, you can't like select it as a game mode.
Yeah. I gotta say, this is one of the only open world games. I put that in parentheses.
Yeah.
Because,
Quotations.
because yes, quotation marks. Last week, we reviewed a bad open world game. This week, we're kind of reviewing a game with a bad open world, which are two distinctly different things.
Yeah,
Evidently.
That keeps coming up where you describe that while playing Ghost of Tsushima. Like, look at the other open world-esque things I've encountered.
Yeah, I'm like, this is fantastic. Now I'm playing an open world game from Sony that's good.
You know, you know what my favorite part of the open world in this game was?
Huh.
That whole area that just runs worse for no reason because it has a weird particle filter in
Yeah,
it.
because they put a ton of filters on the visuals.
We're of course talking about Call of Battle, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry, they also designed it worse than every other area.
I know.
They sure did.
I was streaming my time with it too, and I went, "This area is bad." And someone said, "Yeah, it's intentional." I'm like, "Yeah, it's bad."
It's it's intentional. Also, it's just bad.
Yeah, I know. I was like, "This is miserable." Because I'm trying to get to the other side of an area, and they're like, no, it's all linear and blocked off. You need to go around all the way. And I'm like, this is no.
Yeah, they literally made content hallways, but with no content.
The reason this open, yes, the reason this open world didn't annoy me as much is because it, despite it running real bad, and it's just you're going to these points to do these quick mini games or do these designated fights. You're getting in and you're getting out pretty fast. I feel like where it's like you're shifting into the modes of the open world to the actual like a main quest, but then you hit that zone, and I'm spending time being annoyed that I can't get through it quickly, and I feel like there's no other part of that game where I was in that mode except for Call of Battle.
Well, there's that first racing challenge where it just runs at ass frames per second, and they keep ratcheting up the difficulty.
Yeah, I did that once and then just went, this isn't very good, and I don't need to do it to be able to do the fights.
The ones where you like run into them.
Yeah. Where it's like there's an arrow on the dude and you're chasing them, and if you hit
Yeah,
other like friendly cars, that slows you down. But we're not going to put a map on the screen so you don't know when the turns are going to happen.
Yeah.
See, I didn't have any problem with those. I just did them a bunch. I'm like, wow, I get like 2,000 power-up points every time I do this one. I'm just going to do it like 4 times.
Yes, Wesson, or World-Ending Supernova, based on the cool shirt that Travis wears in Killer 7. Which is really based on the Fire Pro move, but I digress. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first one of those racing challenges runs at 5 frames per second, has hairpin turns constantly.
Yeah.
And they keep ratcheting up the difficulty. I think there are 3 or 4 different difficulties on that. And I did like 3 and said, I can't fucking believe how bad this is. Why'd they put the racing thing in this? Then I finally ran into it in other worlds, and I was like, these are fine. Jesus H. Christ.
Yeah, I saw you playing one where it wasn't outside, it was like in a tunnel.
Yeah.
So, which ensured that they wouldn't have to render as much on the screen.
Yeah, and the tunnel actually looked neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an underwater highway.
Yeah.
That's the one I did a bunch, but I also did the one in Neo Brazil.
Yes, Neo Brazil's the one that runs like
One of the
ass.
funniest,
now
one of the
that's a good
funniest
hub.
area names ever. Yeah, because it's just like a baseball field, and all the diamonds are right there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, man, this is not done. What in the world?
Okay. My favorite part, because it's going to get away from my favorite part of the open world in this game, is getting the supercharged dash on your bike at a crystal, getting hit by it. So you see Travis about to fly out, but you mashed A. So he's in the air and you're automatically just teleporting into the fight.
Oh, that's cool.
So it just hard cuts from him breaking his spine to standing normally and beaming up. So I did that every time.
That's pretty good.
One of my favorite little flourishes this game has is the legally distinct X-Files jingle whenever he goes up into the UFO.
Yeah, all I was doing is going, guys, not many other developers are brave enough to say, mix my game's theme with the X-Files theme, or I'm sorry, the Illuminati theme song.
Yes.
As some of you youngins would call it.
As a Zoomer once told me it was called, and I laughed my ass off for a minute straight. I was like, Illuminati theme? What the fuck? You mean the X-Files theme?
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute. How old am I?
That shit's hilarious. But yeah, what were you gonna say, Bob?
I liked when I crashed into the car warper, and we got it to just be his motorcycle and going through the highway.
Yes.
Selecting the area.
Yeah, because what he's talking about is he crashed into like the portals you go into to drive between islands, those little gateways. But since he crashed, Travis fell off the bike. So it cuts to his motorcycle driving by itself down a tunnel.
Yeah.
This is really good.
God.
This is a Ghost Rider because he's a ghost.
Those collectibles in this open world are really bad.
Right, that's what I was trying to steer to minutes ago.
Yeah, I know. You were talking about trying to get them, and I know your experience wasn't very good. And it's time to talk about them.
It's genuinely the worst open world I've ever engaged with. Most of the time, my OCD can get me to complete an open world. Even in certain games we reviewed recently, I have a strong urge to complete the open world. No More Heroes 3, engaging with it to complete the open world sucks. It sucks really bad. You don't get rewards that matter at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to be gained from going and doing everything.
I feel like I need at least some radar that'll show me like cats and scorpions like near me.
Okay, so here's the thing, Bob.
Okay.
What you're supposed to do is equip the chip that makes your controller vibrate when you're near secrets, but here's the problem. It doesn't work if you're on your bike.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that ever.
Yeah, no one's going to be
Yeah,
hoofing
I
it.
just didn't engage with any of those elements ever.
Yeah, no one would fucking do that. So I ran on foot up and down every fucking island in this game wearing that chip.
Okay.
Yeah,
Why?
And I still was nowhere near done.
Of course.
I sat there and did the most deliberate, meticulous planning to run through each area. And eventually the areas are even, it's a giant football field. There's nothing here. And even with
Suda's
those,
trick.
even with those, I'm delicately running in a way that should cover it with the radar. No, nowhere near done.
No.
There are multiple collectibles I still haven't even gotten one of.
What?
Yeah, there are at least 4 different things you can get that are just question marks right now. And I'm like, are they even in the game?
Yeah, well, there's that other thing I wanted to bring up of you look at the map.
Uh-huh.
Every single one of these areas has a giant red, like, blocked off areas.
We did not finish this.
Yeah, where it's like,
Yeah.
you cannot go here.
Yeah. I mean, isn't there a whole island that's that?
Yes, there's that.
And then other islands have huge chunks that are that?
Right, like Perfect World, you play on this tiny sliver that's an eighth of what they show.
Yeah, it really does just feel like they weren't able to finish it, but they clearly can't, like, remove that part because this thing makes a shape.
Yep.
And it would kind of ruin it if it was just like, I don't even know what this is trying to illustrate. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to illustrate something else.
If they changed the shape, then they would have to redo the loading icon, and they can't do that.
No.
And I'm pretty sure they, like, make that map in a cutscene, so they'd have to remake the cutscene.
Speaking of which, worth bringing up here, not terribly important to criticizing this game, but important to understanding it. Apparently, they finished all the cutscenes for the game.
Okay.
this is Suda's words, they finished it, realized there were 3 hours of cutscenes and cut an hour out.
Whoa.
How dare they?
There's a ton of story stuff they also had to cut out for scope.
Huh.
Like involving meeting Midori Kawa's father in the black hole prison after Travis dies. And I'm like, wow, that didn't remotely happen in this game.
Yeah, it'd be cool if the stuff where Travis died had more in it. That'd be cool. I would love to see that.
Yeah, it just came off as a funny bit of you remember the first game, and then we're doing this small 5-minute section with a hilarious payoff. But I would have liked all of that story that they cut, because boy is the story hilarious.
Yeah, I would absolutely.
Please do a director's cut and release it on something where they can run it.
Yeah, that's what I want. It, hands down, buying it day one, because I think all that shit he said about meeting her dad in the black hole prison after Travis dies, I'm like, yeah, that sounds really cool. Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story is easily the best part of this game. More, please.
Not even. It's not even close. But I do enjoy the combat. I enjoy the action.
Yes, I also.
But even still, the story's incredible.
Yeah, no, it's not. There's nothing even close. Like the story's a 10. Everything else is like a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I'm not in this mode where I am with some Yoko Taro before he hired better people to make his games, where I'm like, I just need something to get me to where I'm going. I'm like, I'm enjoying myself, and then I get rewarded with the insane story sequences or Suda using his characters to talk about which movies he likes.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the Takashi Miki section, every single transition is amazing.
Which I think the payoff of that being him asking him, can you please make a No More Heroes movie?
And then the awkward silence is really good.
Yes.
Yeah, I really do appreciate everything they did there with the story. There's not a single aspect where I was like, this was terrible. How dare you? This is not even not great.
I will say I found it a bit lame that right after your first fight after the intro, they're like, we're just going to fuck over all of these characters. I didn't really feel like they... I'm not a fan of that at all, and how it just kind of amounted to now at each chapter you talk to Shinobu and Bad Girl, and he kind of just shows bad bedside manner with both of them, and then that's the thing you do every single chapter.
That doesn't even qualify for bad bedside manner.
Yeah, it eventually worked out with Bad Girl.
Nothing is funnier than being like, I know your dad's dead, but have you seen this sick 70s mecha anime?
Yeah, I know, but I was just like, I'm not a fan of that specific story development. I'm glad that they had them do at least something at the very end, because otherwise it would have felt even worse.
Yeah, it did feel real weird, where it's just like, oh yeah, we have these characters, never mind.
Yeah, he was like, I've committed to bringing them back, and he's like, I don't know what I'm going to write for them to do the entire game, so we're going to sidelight them immediately. And I'm like, why are you like this?
I did enjoy Travis going, you want to watch Char's counterattack? If I don't watch Char's counterattack every 3 months, I start getting headaches.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I too did not like that he sidelined them immediately, but them being this insane vessel for Travis to show how terrible he is very funny to me.
Yeah, with Shinobu, it's always him recounting Japanese wrestling matches from 40 years ago.
Yes.
You know what's real fear? The moment when...
Yeah, I kind of wish they were able to do that in some way that didn't involve fridging 2 female characters. If that at all was possible, I would have preferred it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I can't sit here and be like, the part where Bad Girl got incapacitated was bad because Bad Girl sucks.
I know, but what's the point of bringing her back if that was your grand plan?
I think that's completely valid after what I went through in Travis Strikes Again.
I feel like he didn't. He was just like, I just want to bring her back, cuz. Yeah. Are you gonna do anything with her? No.
Not really, no. Shinobu, I kind of feel bad for. Shinobu, I was like, Shinobu's cool. I feel like I want more with Shinobu. We could have involved the kids, because if you play Travis Strikes Again, the visual novel goes to the dojo she runs, basically.
Yeah, it was weird for that not to come up at all. And just like, I guess she's living in his apartment or his motel now.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone just picks out a room.
Which is very funny.
Well, she doesn't seem to have a room. Maybe she lives somewhere else and just hangs around because he's her master. But Bad Girl's like, no, I live here. Where else would I live? I'm a lunatic.
There's even that part where fucking Travis's wife steps out of one of the rooms, and it's like, wait, have you been there the whole time?
Yeah, that kills me.
Yeah,
where
that
I'm
was
like, she's
great.
taking out the trash after you take out Henry Cooldown.
Yep. That shit's great. That shit's really good. Like this game. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, it's I'm gonna say it again because it apparently upsets people, but I think it's a funny concept. Sony should give Suda $100 million.
Yes, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, they should.
Sony should just take their normal budget and be like, okay, here's 5 Japanese auteurs. They each get a fifth, and then just don't look at it for 4 years.
Yeah, I
Don't even look in that direction.
even after beating this game, I'm floored that this is somehow not Grasshopper's most expensive game.
I think that being on Unreal lets them do the stuff where he always does it of like it needs to have different game modes. There's now a tutorial for that, for each one of those. He can just say like, okay, staff, go watch this tutorial on making a garbage pickup game.
He's like watching Unreal Engine 4 YouTubers.
Yeah, he's like
That'd be really funny.
Here's the plugin that makes the rail shooter with the fucking alligators, which might be my favorite of those
love
minigames.
that one.
That one's very funny. The
Like,
turret defense.
like I said on Twitter, No More Heroes is the universe where Ron DeSantis is president.
Everyone was basically saying some level of that.
Yeah.
In my chat, I love that minigame because you get the little alligators coming toward you, but then you get the big one. And then when you hit the higher leveled ones, they're like, we're going to add red ones that move diagonally. And I'm like, oh, this is cruel. I didn't miss any of the diagonal ones. I usually psyched myself out and missed a slow one. But
yeah, I think a version of this game that ships on fucking anything that can run it, like the PS5 or PC or to some extent the last gen consoles, is topping my list for things I want.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, I could do with these load times being a lot shorter.
The load times are like the worst part.
oh yeah,
Like going through that game again, I was like, oh my God, most of the time I'm spending loading.
Yeah.
Because it's like load to the new area, load to the combat room, load out of the combat room, move to the next combat room. I'm like, oh my God.
No, it's like you start a brand new chapter of the game, and it's like, okay, go to your lab. Okay, now go into that room and talk to Shinobu. Okay, leave the lab. Okay, now the loading screen will freeze for 15 seconds halfway across. And then I play
Go to Bad Girl's room, load again, load into the open world out of her room again.
I'm doing. That's that process. And while it's dying, I'm just hitting the fucking button that has Steve Harvey going, yes, kill, from Family Feud, in the hopes that it'll make the game run again.
Yeah, I don't.
I saw video of people getting this to run on emulator already, and I'm already upset.
Oh, that's fair.
People are like, here it is running at 1080p for like combat and cutscenes. I'm like, why does this look so sharp?
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Someone showed a screenshot of 4K open world texture.
Oh, nice.
I need to see that shit. For anyone who doesn't know, this entire game is 720p.
Yes.
There are textures in this game that are like so unbelievably low res it must be intentional.
If you keep the game running long enough, especially in the open world, it'll just stop loading everything and start turning literally everything in the world into Final Fantasy VII Remake door.
Good.
I took some pictures. That shit was nuts.
Oh yeah, you pointed one out to me where where instead of a door, it's 3 buildings next to each other.
I never closed the game because I would just put the Switch into sleep mode.
Yeah, exactly.
So that might have started happening to me because I got the bug that a lot of people get where after a certain point in the game, health bars just vanish.
Yeah,
that's
why
that
I had
happened to me too.
Yeah, I had to close the game as well, where it's just like, if I can't tell the health of these enemies, I refuse to fight them.
Yeah, no, because it feels unplayable without health bars because the enemies kind of have huge health bars.
Yeah, the game feels especially damage spongy, which is something I did want to bring up. Like I was hitting the point you fight the cloaked dudes who like have moves like shoots a bunch of rings toward you or drops the cube.
Fuck the cube.
Yeah, I hated that thing. I'm like, this is way too damage spongy. And someone's like, play like Dan. And then I pumped 3 level ups into attack, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that's also what I did.
This is the least damage spongy a No More Heroes game has been, and this is coming from someone who just played 1 and 2 on easy.
At least like the cloak dude is supposed to be like a more mini boss type guy.
Yeah,
so
but
it makes sense that he has a bunch of health.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like a reacher.
Shut up.
No.
Jesus Christ.
I think what
Dan.
makes it really weird is the bosses do not feel damage punchy.
They don't.
They feel completely balanced like throughout the game for that.
Yeah.
But random enemies,
They might have too little health.
Yes, probably do have too little health.
Yeah, the enemies are the real bastards because they also have like enemy types that in a vacuum I'm like, okay, I get this. And they're like, we're going to put them next to each other. I'm like, no, please don't do that. Because you got the dudes with the hole in their chest that shoot the mines. And if you make that the horrible mistake of being right in front of them when they launch it, you die. You get hit by 18 things that are spawning at once. And I'm like, Suda's never heard of an invincibility frame before.
It was really funny. I think Bob missed it. He looked away from the screen during our stream to read chat for 1 second. When he looked back, I was dead immediately. And I'm like, Bob, all 5 of them launched a cube at the same time.
like God, they
went from full health to dead.
That can happen real fast.
That's what I get for death kicking, I guess.
Yes. Sometimes that's just the mistake, I guess.
Some developers haven't learned what an invincibility frame thing is when you've gotten hit. And they need to learn it. We don't need this to be like Dark Souls.
See, here's the thing, though. Here's the lesson I took away from that. Every time an encounter goes, start, I need to already be death kicking. I can't. You cannot
delay.
You can't wait 3 seconds to decide what to do in any encounter. Otherwise, they'll start spawning them.
You know, there's something really funny that this game does that I know has to be intentional. You'll hit a designated fight. You'll go into that dimension, and they will show you the enemy layout. And you see the sides. And on the sides, you always see the bones, which are like the default starter enemy. And they always make sure that the fucked up enemy you have to fight is always in the middle and obscured by the UI until the fight has fully started.
Oh, that's okay. My right index finger's already on R. I'm already mashing death kick.
Yeah, it's like immediately I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. Oh my God. It's the feeling I have in my brain right when fights start where it's like, there are 2 bones. And a mini boss and those 2 projectile dudes. They just barely are in that UI. I'm like, that is so intentional.
I appreciate that the animation coming out of a death kick, you can trigger the slowdown in the middle of it. So that is my starter every fucking time.
Yeah, so often I'm like, those projectile dudes are the main problem. Let me just run past everything else and just start wailing on these dudes.
Yeah, what I realized is being careful is the worst fucking thing you can do in this game.
Yes.
Like they just, if you
project into Travis touchdown, just be a dipshit.
Yeah, it's like if you try to be careful, all that's going to happen is your entire play field will get filled with lava. Like, and you'll just die. That's how it feels.
Fuck those dudes with the bombs who just fill the fucking area all around them with bombs.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, where if you're directly in front of them, their bomb spawn like shoots out first, so you can just get hit by all of them if you're close enough.
Yeah, like 5 simultaneously. Yeah, it's terrible.
That definitely happened, and then I just instantly die.
Just in general, sometimes the combat, I'll just run into some enemies and go, oh, please don't. Oh, please God, no. Anything but this. And it wasn't until the 3rd ranked fight that someone in chat went, so I just figured out while playing on hard mode, the dodge timing, don't look at animations, just wait for the purple circle and then just hit dodge as soon as you see it on screen. And
just wait for the new type flash.
Yeah. Until that purple circle for the crosshair changes to that specific color, you dodge. And I went, well, this game went from challenging at points to, it really eased it up, because there are some things where the timings don't make sense. You'll hit the mini boss with the big axe. It's like an all gold dude with
the dude with the bardish. Yeah.
You'll hit that dude, and sometimes you'll get the flash dodge before he's begun, like frame 1 of him maybe thinking about a swing, as opposed to a Dark Souls enemy of you have to roll as the attack's about to hit you. It's like here, he's thought about it. That's your dodge window.
Yeah, his is just broken. No one else in the game is as incorrect as his.
But once I learned about the purple circle shit, I actually was able to successfully exploit the great art of that dodge, and then slowing down time after the dodge to really just live in my enemy's ass for like 15 seconds.
And you get your mini Mustang mode. Like that weird thing you get from doing the perfect dodge.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
This game has weird mechanics, and they allow you to just break the difficulty if engaged with correctly.
Yeah, especially like a phase of like the end fights where they're like, if you just successfully dodge in this phase, you always have that Mustang mode.
Yeah.
Just because the only basis of that phase is to dodge.
And that's the thing. That's why you feel it so little going up the difficulties on the time machine for boss fights. It's like, look, if I've broken the game in half, I've broken the game in half. Either I successfully did it on this attempt or I didn't. That's how it feels. Mm-hmm. Bob, you've been trying to get something out.
I was gonna say, does anyone else wish the camera was out just a little bit further?
Yes.
Because it's
Yes.
really just hugging his shoulder.
Yeah. It's a little too close for me. I wish it had like other options that like even like a DMC5 or even like FF7 have of push it back a little in the settings at all.
Have you guys ever seen those charts where they show you relative screen size for resolutions? Like, oh, this is 720p, and that's inside of this 1080p screen. So this game was originally 4K, and they just punched in.
That's what it feels like.
Dude, if it comes out on PS5 and somehow it looks like an RTS,
That'd be great.
then the game becomes a 10.
Honestly.
I want to be able to see.
Dude, I'm sitting here in Ghost of Tsushima, fast traveling with load times that seem like they're less than 1 whole second.
They are less than 1 whole second. I lived some of those.
I need No More Heroes with load times that are 3 seconds at least. Like, come on, please. It takes so long to get, like, you start a new chapter, you just beat a boss. What do you want to do? You want to check how everyone's doing, which means most of the next 3 minutes is loading.
Yeah, your playthrough is going to have 45 or 50 minutes of loading.
Yeah, 3 is generous. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's like the next 10 minutes is spent loading.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really rough. Like doing my second playthrough alone, it was like it was really hard.
You're
just
like, I already
loading.
lived through this, so it kind of feels like just worse.
Yes.
Especially if you don't like the combat that much, so it really just kind of feels like it's punching you the side while you're playing.
It feels like you went to go walk down a hall of a house you own or whatever, or lived in, and it just takes way longer to get down to this time for some reason.
Yeah, I'm like, man, I wish there was such a way to be like, just let me do the bosses. I don't want to do the 30 minutes of load times that involve all these designated fights.
I mean, yeah, that does make sense. You saying just wanting to do the fights reminded me the whole thing of there's like no levels on any of these bosses except for like one.
Yeah, Midorikawa is the only one.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Which, to be fair, if one of them's gonna get a level, I'm glad it was her.
Yeah.
So is Suda, clearly.
Yeah, it made me think like they probably wanted to have more traditional levels. I saw some people like push back going, it doesn't need it, but I'm like, I kind of want something that kind of like describes the theme a bit better of whoever I'm going up against. I kind of like that with these bosses.
Yeah, like these bosses have really cool like boss area. It'd be cool if there was a small stage even leading into it.
It feels like they intentionally didn't want them. That's how it feels to me, because I feel like people always bitched about how linear and boring they were. So it's like, okay, we'll just have you fight some guys in the overworld and then you just go right to the boss.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people who were saying that the level, like them not having levels, is terrible, but for me, compared to No More Heroes 1 and 2, and strictly speaking within that context, I'd rather get the extra layer of combat system that we got and no levels than a bunch of bad levels and a less polished combat system. Because those levels, most of them aren't good. And I think most No More Heroes fans can agree that most No More Heroes levels are not good.
Yeah, no, there's like 1 or 2 standouts.
Yeah, I would like for them to at least improve it, or even if it's going to be corridors, like being able to get into the theme of the character until it becomes the boss. Because the idea of just you've teleported into the exact same room that all the other ones are in, where there's the sushi guy, there's a bathroom, and then there's a door. And then you hit stuff like right before you fight Fu, where it's a hallway that you enter your super mech mode for, and you just fight the default enemy that kind of just feels sad.
That's funny as shit. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm just like, it just makes me want to have proper video game levels.
Yeah, I do think this game could be improved by some of the bosses getting levels. I do think that wouldn't fit at all for Kimmy.
Yeah.
Because what... Are you just killing her fans? Like, why would that? But a lot of the bosses could actually use it. Like, see, the funny thing is Mr. Blackhole kind of gets his own level in that you storm the ship for the first time leading into that fight.
Yeah.
And then basically no one else other than Midori Kawa gets a level.
Yeah, I don't think that what we're saying here is
Fu
that every
does.
character needs it. It just it'd be cool if there were stages for some of them.
Yes.
Heck, you could even cut out the open world part for that one because you go back to like Neo Brazil or Perfect World more than once. So instead of going back to that same open world again, if they had made a stage, it would be a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, the idea where it's like the outliers just not having a stage would, be exciting instead of it feeling more and more like routine like. Where I would like some of that stage stuff in there because some of the stuff they did have in the beginning I enjoyed. Like I enjoyed that first level and I enjoyed the Midorikawa stuff. So I would like that. See what they do more of that. Maybe they have some of that magnet shit right before Gold Joe.
So the Gold Joe doesn't need to fully explain. No,
shit's
Travis
too
explains
funny.
it to him.
Exactly. I was like, you've got that backwards. That was Travis's idea somehow.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I think we need to keep that, actually.
Yeah, I feel like Sonic Juice could have had a really cool level. That's the guy who has arms going through his chest for nipples.
So I have
giant blue man with a dude inside.
God.
So I have a question about this. I was watching some of your VOD. You just kept hitting him, right? And eventually the fight starts. Like the proper fight.
You mean the RPG thing?
So the RPG?
Yeah, you kept hitting him in the RPG thing, and eventually Travis just makes the fight start.
I was using
I destroyed the panels.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. My chat just said, attack your status bar. When you break them, it immediately makes Travis go, fuck this, and then the fight started.
What? You can select something else to attack other than him?
Okay, you can attack the top thing that says like what the enemies are, and if you do that, he's like, I can't reach that. But if you attack the bottom thing that's like your health and everything, and the one that has the commands, and you break both, you can start the real fight in like 3 turns.
Oh, thank God.
That's funny.
That was the worst, like, fake RPG battle ever. It took forever.
I immediately realized that was it, because I'm like, there's no way this is just going to be an RPG battle. You don't, because the first thing I did was I tried everything but attack. Like, I tried summon and everything. Like, you can't do any of that. You don't have those powers. And I'm like, then what the fuck does he want me to do?
Yeah,
I guess hit the boxes.
Did you realize if you use the lightning magic and then attack, it actually lands for decent damage?
Yeah, I did do that, and then someone said, did you know you can target the other parts? And I'm like, oh shit, so I lightninged and hit those, and they each die in 1 hit?
So that's the funny thing. After dealing with that open world, I was ready to believe Suda wanted me to spend over 10 turns priming my sword and hitting him.
You know,
me too.
I'm also willing to believe that. Once you get into the real fight, that might be my least favorite fight in the entire game.
Really?
The camera is aggressively terrible on that, where it's not even showing me some of the attacks that are hitting on screen, and that's the only fight I feel like that's happening to me on.
Yeah, because he'll start his hit, and you won't even know where it's coming from, because you can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he's like a Final Fantasy 14 boss where he's giant, and you're like on a big circle. So you're like, you have to face fuck this guy to actually hit him, and so many of his big attacks are just hitting from off screen that hit everywhere. So it just didn't really ever feel good.
Yeah.
And also some stuff just misses constantly. Like some of your Death Club skills don't even hit him properly.
That's true, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because of like the way he's built.
Yeah, I always hate it when
he schmoves too much for the rain.
He's a cool design, but it just none of his fight just didn't really work for me, which was disappointing. Except the RPG thing, because I got it to end in 3 turns.
I mean, I'm going to be fucking honest. As far as giant enemy in an action game goes, they're so much worse that I'm like, this doesn't get a critical fail like some of them I've engaged with in my life.
Yeah, I just say it's the worst fight for me in this game. Of course, it's better than the giant fights in Neo 2.
Oh, no.
God.
I did one of those at double speed. Please don't remind me.
Jesus, no.
While we're talking about weird things where the attack seems like it should hit but just doesn't.
Yeah.
The kick.
Do you know? Yeah, the kick. But mainly the kick was those robot dudes who have the little ball arms they shoot out and attach to you.
Yes.
They just slide backwards, and that's too much for the death kick.
Yeah,
the death kick just can't hit them because they're magically moving backwards. They can't figure it out.
Sometimes the game forgets, because usually the kick will auto-target the thing closest to you. Sometimes it gives up, and then it's like Travis has kicked the opposite direction of anyone. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Come on.
Favorite boss fight, Velvet Chair Girl.
Oh, yeah. That's that... just the Velvet Chair Girl fight, or do you also like the?
I'm gonna take the bundle, with Oma.
Oma.
Yeah.
Adrian.
I will take that bundle because oh my god, I was like, oh, this Oma fight seems pretty easy. Now that I realize, just keep running. Like, it's funny. Most action games don't actually have, like, most of them don't have a run button. So the fact that this game's boss fight, that one especially, is primed around literally use the run button to run away, so that way you can gain enough speed on this fucking laser to just hit it in the back. I'm like, oh, that's cute. I figured that out pretty fast. And then I see online people going, yo, this Oma fight's impossible. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay, I died quite a few times on it. Because what? He has an attack that kills you instantly if you get hit by it.
I mean, he has only one attack, and yes, it does that.
It's an attack that kills you in one hit.
And it's really slow if you remember, oh yeah, you can run in this video game.
Yes, but I make slight mistakes, like I'm doing a heavy attack, and Travis is like, I will live here now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Travis
oh no!
has some problems when you do heavy attacks once in a while. I was like, it's not ending. Because they made the first heavy attack a 2-hit.
Suda has never heard of the art of the cancel. So, unfortunately, I'm in hell.
Look, I'm sorry you have commitment problems.
I do, in fact, have some commitment problems. This boss definitely loved to commit when you hit the last phase where he's like, now the beam creates a smokestack that is also a hitbox and just stays there.
Yeah, that's what got me with this fight, honestly. I was fine until he did that, and I had to do the whole fight again. I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was me. My first try, I got him to 10% health, then got hit by that, and then I started crumbling, because whenever I die once, I just start falling apart like a Jenga tower. And then the last time I just kept going, no, guys, I don't know what the problem is. I just keep dying over and over again and getting the cat.
That's really good.
And I'm like, look, guys, all it took was the cat saving me 4 times. I may or may not be shitting my pants.
That's really good.
You know what I like about these bosses?
What do you like about these bosses?
They introduced fighters that were numbered, like number 4 and number 2, Sniper Lee, and the other guy. And I said on stream, these are the worst designs in this game. I hope they're killed. And then they were killed off. they were killed, and you don't
see.
Fight them.
I didn't think they were the worst designs, but the moment I saw, oh god, what is this fucking?
The
Paradox Bandit.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Paradox Bandit. The first time I saw his design. No. Actually, not that one. The one with the lizard tail that Kimmy murders.
Oh, him.
The first time I saw that fucker, Vanishing Point, I was like, I don't think Suda is going to be able to make a good boss fight out of this guy. For some reason, just some part of his design seems hard to animate. And then you see him in cutscenes, and I went, oh, there's no way.
He looks cool. That's the neon,
He looks like he would be somewhere in the Frieza arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the lines on him. He has this whole deep backstory about he has memory management and manipulation skills and all this shit that you think they're going to dive into. And then he's just killed.
I have to wonder, I have not done the math. How many of these aliens does Travis actually kill?
Someone in chat was keeping track and said the only ones that Travis truly kills on his own of the top 10 is the first 2.
Yeah, it's a pretty low number, but I assume it's closer to 4 or 5, not 2. Are we counting Oma as a part of this? Because Oma is there every time they say Velvet Chair Girl.
But it's Velvet Chair Girl, it's not Oma.
Yeah, yes,
okay.
That's how the chat was going. It's like, their name, does Travis kill them? And the only ones that apparently count are Black Hole,
Let me look.
Dr. Black Hole, whatever.
He
and
kills
Gold Joe.
He kills Mr. Black Hole, Gold Jew, and Sonic Juice. He doesn't kill any of the others.
No, Sonic Juice dies to Fu.
That's true.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so he
Fuck. He kills the first 2.
Yeah, he kills the first 2. The second Gold Joe's death's really funny, where it's like, this thing can melt anything, and he's like, okay, I'll just beat you with it like a bat. And I'm like, thank you, Travis.
Since this is the spoiler cast, this is probably the only place I get to talk about this. Can you believe Suda literally sent the art of Travis's decapitated head on the toilet to an editor at a gaming publication, and he then showed that on stream?
Oh my god.
That shit literally happened in the game.
Yeah.
He's like, Suda, why did you send me this? And he's like, I wanted you to know that Travis isn't safe in this game. Not even in the place he feels safe is the bathroom.
Oh my god.
And then it happened in the game, and I'm like, Suda, what the fuck? That's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at this list, I guess.
Yeah, even Fu like technically gets killed by that guy from Unity.
Damon Riccatello.
Yes, the EA executive.
The EA executive who turns into the man from They Live.
I really couldn't handle
Yes.
the fact that. God.
Thank you for noticing that, by the way, because I was having a stroke that he turned to the guy from They Live.
Yeah, now that you mention it,
Let
my God.
me see if I can find an image real quick. They Live purple guy, thank you. Nope, can't find it. Not easily.
Fu literally reverts into a Dragon Ball GT character at the very end of this game, and it's very funny. Where he just reverts to his baby form and then just runs away. He's
Man,
like, I'm
you know,
done.
I hate saying I relate to Damon at all, but I loved you. Now fuck off, boy. I've sure felt that about people. No,
I thought you were gonna say, not even my dad hits me. Now I'm mad.
that's just a Gundam reference.
That's so insane. God damn. But yeah, I posted a picture of Purple Face, and I was like, yeah, he became the They Live guy. That's nuts.
Did anyone else think that more would happen with Fu's story of, like, we keep getting those intermissions where he's talking to the ranked fighter. He's talking about not having his memories and all these weird things.
Yeah, that was clearly some Vanishing Point thing, where Vanishing Point's entire superpower was that he can manipulate memories.
Right.
And then they just kill him.
Right, and then it does. We just refuse to elaborate.
I don't. I think it's literally just Suda going refuses to elaborate leaves.
Yes, it does feel that way.
I genuinely believe there could be a director's cut of this coming, and Suda can be like, I finally figured it out. Sell an exclusive on the Switch, sell the better version later.
That would be really good. I'd pay a lot for that. Yeah.
I think that would be the ideal experience here. As someone who really appreciated this game on the Switch, I still need a version that's more done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The one thing that really bugged me is that it would sometimes start running so bad during cutscenes, audio would desync.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that did happen. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I don't even know if it's about it running bad. I think some of the cutscenes just desync.
It could be.
Yeah.
I don't know why it happens, but it definitely happens consistently.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it happens very early on too. Like after the first title fight, it just immediately just goes off track.
Yeah.
To the degree that I saw people talking about saying, no, it's intentional because all the other ones I found didn't have a desync. It's like, no, this game just runs on the Switch.
This game is just not quite done.
Yeah. I didn't notice it too much, but that time I was like, wait a minute, is that me?
Yeah, it happens really early, and then also I was getting it sort of during some of the end game stuff, and it was like, man, this is important. Please run.
Yeah.
They Live memes are haunting me. I'm going to close this tab.
Okay, yeah,
That's good.
That's a safe thing. Dan,
Yeah.
what was your favorite of these ranked matches?
See, that's
Yeah, didn't you already go over that?
that's really hard because I want to give it to Velvet Chair Girl because oh my god. But also, you have to sit there and be like, there's something amazingly special about the Midori Kawa fight.
Yes. The them jumping to the quarry from Tokusatsu is amazing.
That's where they filmed Kamen Rider Zeo.
So one of my favorite things about this game is how they will censor the references they're not supposed to say,
But they're
with
saying
asterisks. The only one they don't say, the only one that's actually censored, I think, is Jean saying she's as strong as Piccolo.
Yes.
I think that's the only one they censor. And Travis is like, that doesn't really give them a good idea of how, whatever.
Yeah, I just really appreciate the Midori Kawa stuff because that's when Kamui shows up. That's when we get Kamui engaging with Travis. And somehow Travis is instantly like, Kamui, dude. It's like fucking unreal.
Yeah.
I love everything about that. He also said, Suda did, that there was more integrating this into the silver case and other Sudaverse stuff that they cut. And I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, that would all stuff would be really cool.
I think that
It's weird.
Yeah, I think that stuff was really, really neat. As someone who started getting into that stuff, it would have been really, really neat if we got more about what Kamui has been doing and What's Up With Them Now, which was apparently very directly what was cut. And I was like, oh, that Kamui shit's hilarious. Also, I need Kamui to be rendered at above 720p because the way they did his eyes makes one of his eyes look dead. Like, and I don't mean artistically. I mean, there aren't enough pixels on the eye, so it always looks odd. Especially when it's not a really zoomed in shot. But yeah, no, I already see the YouTube comment going, Dan, don't you know? That's the such and such eye. And I'm like,
Yes.
no, I mean, it's rendered improperly. My favorite fight was Sniping Lee.
Oh, okay. So you liked Metal Cooler when he showed up.
Or did you just like the costume where Sniper Lee exploded?
I like that.
His head flew at you.
That was really cool because, that entire sequence ends with, I guess we're Rocky now.
Yeah, they do that twice in the game, and that's really good.
Yes.
That is the first time I'm like, wow, we're doing Rocky because we're on the beach. And then they did it again, and I'm like, what is now we're Rocky 5?
I don't know why they have the worst jogging animations in the entire world.
Oh, I love it.
Like, what happened?
Because that's what the Unreal 4 store has.
I love it so much. I wouldn't change a thing about that jogging scene. It's so perfect.
It's really great because the perspective confuses me because Bad Girl's way in the front. So it kind of feels like they're barely moving.
Oh, I think that's
definitely.
the joke. I think that's a joke. It's supposed to look like movies when people fake run.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, this is really bad. And see, what we really need, very specific cut, what we really need is for him to do the director's cut of this, and he adds in a cut that looks like rear projection behind Travis, and he's walking on a treadmill in front of it. We need to get that eyes wide shut shot.
That'd be really good, yes.
That shit's always delightful, where it's like, yeah, they're in a car, really. We promise. But yeah, no, this... there's so many fucking delightful moments in this game, and all I really wish for is for it to run better, because oh my god, it's blurry and it runs like shit, and it takes
so
a really
blurry.
long time to load on things that shouldn't take that long. Like when a single room with Bad Girl in it takes as long as a designated battle.
Yeah, it does.
That's a problem.
Where sometimes they don't even say anything, so you went in there for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a bit rough.
Yeah.
Heck, sometimes it takes a while to load the text adventure. It's the text adventure, please.
Yeah.
It's funny because the text adventures are very short in this, which I did not expect.
Yeah, no, those are kind of strangely short.
Yeah, I expected the open world to be smaller and the text adventure to be much longer. Mm-hmm. I think that would have been a better balance.
Probably.
I like that stupid side quest of you mining for jewels.
That was like the peak of the garbage mini games where it's like, this is just horrible.
Yeah, I
thought it was funny, so I didn't have a problem with it.
Are you now
talking about the mining one, right?
Yes.
talking the mining mini game or the mining visual novel?
I mean the visual novel
Okay.
thing where you meet with the dude
not the
and he's like, I want the gems. And then he's like, okay, now you about the pickaxe. There's probably some around town. And now there's just giant rocks everywhere.
Yeah, that shit's funny.
Yeah, I'm talking about the mini game in
Oh, they're
in
everywhere,
Battle Dome.
but you find
In
it there
Thunderdome.
originally. You find it in Thunderdome originally,
yeah,
but they
where
open
it's
up
like,
everywhere.
oh, this is real not great.
must have
I just
not gotten
evaded
it.
doing it entirely because I saw Dan do it once. I was like, no, thank you.
I did them all.
then
I did them all when I walked every island.
Then I immediately fell into the lava and just died.
I didn't encounter this thing at all.
Are you?
Yeah,
I would simply not find the worst minigame.
Right?
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what you guys are talking about.
Jesus Christ, it literally is the worst. I was going to ask everyone's least favorite minigame. Mm-hmm. Bob?
I didn't play that one, so I'll go ahead and not elect it. I just saw it. It was clearly the worst one, obviously.
You can look at it and tell.
But the worst one I played was the driving one.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Because I, too, did one mission and it was like, this is running intensely badly, and I just can't catch them.
Bob, you're correct. The driving one is so terrible.
Yeah, I thought previously the driving one was my least favorite.
Yeah. There are delightful ones in there, like the trash collecting one I really like. I run on the PlayStation just so I can hit the buttons right. And I'll feel like I'm being tricked constantly by it being a Nintendo layout for buttons.
It is so stupid. but I love the grass mowing one.
Me too.
I don't know why.
Me too. It's really great.
I also missed that one. I just missed entire minigames.
Damn, dude.
You gotta go back.
Travis doing the flourish as he mows grass is like the most boomer energy he displays in the whole game.
He fucking nailed it. It's like, yeah, there it is.
Because I could see my dad doing that 20 years ago.
Yeah, doing the one-handed turn.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really damn good. Yeah, no, I love that one. I love the trash picking up one. I love the better driving ones.
You're forgetting the best one in the entire game.
What's that?
The toilet.
That hardly counts, but sure.
Yeah, it does. It's the Ubisoft Tower, which is unclocking a toilet, and that dumb music that plays made me feel happy every time I was doing it.
It's funny as hell.
I appreciate that they never get longer. It's
don't.
always twice.
I thought they were gonna be like, no, this one takes 3 cycles. No,
I also appreciate there's like no skill whatsoever. It's just move the stick around a little bit.
I just appreciate him doing the most dumb minigame ever and then just screaming Ichiban
yes.
when he's done.
I expected at some point that it'd be like level 5 toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire time I'm waiting for there to be something bad, like there's a scorpion in here.
Hit this button to step on the scorpions while you plunge.
I used to think Santa Destroyer was like an analogy for like a Los Angeles or something like that, or like something in California. But the more I played this game, the more I was like, no, this is Florida. This is definitely just Florida.
Parts of it feel a lot like California, though. So I think it's just this is what Sudis thinks America is. At least the America in filtered through No More Heroes.
It's like it's California and also funny Florida man stories he's heard about.
Yeah.
And also California ultimately is the Florida of the West.
That is
It is
horrifying.
Western Florida.
I mean, that's true. That's very true. KZ, what's your least favorite minigame?
The motorcycle one.
Oh, okay. Phil, what's your least favorite minigame?
The mining one. I didn't actually have a big problem with the driving ones. I guess by that point I'm like, 5 frames a second is how games run.
Yeah, if there was like a map that would tell me, oh yeah, a turn's gonna happen, so I don't fucking careen into a wall and then lose my place again.
Oh, I just did that all the time. It just never mattered.
Yeah. Yeah, but the fact that happened made me upset because I want to be out of the minigame, and that's making me stay in the minigame.
Yeah, as someone who did the first 3 difficulties of that, I would appreciate it not running at 5 frames per second, so that way it didn't eat inputs and then crash me into a wall. That would be appreciated.
Yeah.
But yeah, the mining one, easily.
Yeah.
That thing is so bad. It's like, wow, I slipped into a nightmarishly bad video game. For like this one mini game, it's just hell.
I don't know why they made that. Like, just watching you play, I was like, this doesn't fit with the rest of the game.
I don't even know if you saw the ones I did where eventually, when it needed to spawn enemies in, it would just freeze.
Yes, that happened even from the first one.
Yeah.
Just it freezes.
Yeah.
The thing spawn.
Sometimes it hitches.
Great.
Other times it's frozen and you need to wait seconds for it to do anything.
Did anyone else have a crash? Like the full game crashed?
No.
I mean, we had the full game crash.
Did we have that during the stream too?
I think we had it happen once during the stream.
Because it happened when I was playing on my own. I was like, I just let the designated fights for the final mission. I need to do the worst fights in the game again.
No, because they're everywhere too. They're like, "You want to go back to Call of Duty?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
No.
Yeah, if it didn't happen on stream, then it happened to me off stream as well. Oh boy.
Yeah, I did start getting nervous at points where I'm like, I've been out in the open world for 55 minutes and I haven't saved yet. I should probably go shit. Which I do appreciate. You occasionally just see Travis's cheeks whenever before the toilet paper could fully cover his ass.
It is very funny.
I'm like, oh man, we snuck in him all cheeked up.
Yeah, for some reason, sometimes
just at the very bottom, you just see him hanging.
Little bit of cheek hanging out. It's very funny. Yeah, I appreciate the. One thing they added to the open world that I really like is the aliens who are here to dominate fashion.
Yes, those guys are great.
I think that's very funny that they're just like, hey, have you earned this many Wesson? Okay, good job. Here you go. Here's your cool shirt. Have you taken down this many of them? Oh, okay, here you go. Cool shirt.
Yeah,
I wish they didn't even spawn until you had fulfilled the condition, though.
No, I like them giving me goals.
Right.
I like adding an extra layer of progression to the game. I personally like that. I get why you would want them to not spawn so that way.
I wish it was formatted more so I had any chance of like treating it like progression instead of there's this dipshit way out in the boonies that wants me to do this. I'm like, I already forgot he existed the moment I stopped talking to him.
I kind of wish that it was just okay, go to Area 51, it's now invaded by aliens. And they give you a goal list and then you're like, okay, fill out these goals so I can
if this was like the clothing shop where you didn't spend money, it was entirely
goals, achievements.
Also, speaking of money, I wish there was more than one beam katana in this.
Same.
It's cool in this, but I miss like him having some big stupid bullshit thing. Yeah. I wanted him to get the lightsaber umbrella from the Star Wars anime that we already saw in trailers.
Oh yeah, that thing.
I was also surprised that we didn't get more variety in terms of that stuff.
Yeah, ideally we would just have a light and then a heavy, and the light and the heavy have their own flourishes that make them interesting. You know, kind of like the insanely extendo one based on how deep your combo is.
Yes.
From that older No More Heroes game.
Yeah, that one was really funny.
Yeah, it was. I really love that motherfucker. That thing's great.
Yeah, in the first No More Heroes game where you get the ultimate one, and it's like, when you do the kill move, it hits everything on screen.
Yeah, that shit's great.
Like, we need something like that.
Yeah, we need that. I think that would be swell. We need a director's cut of this game.
Yeah, that would really help the combat a lot for me. Just to like, okay, it feels like I don't have enough variety in what I can attack or what I can perform to make me feel okay with hitting these guys this many times. But if I had another weapon to switch to, sure.
But what if he had giant Hulk hands?
That would be really funny in its own way.
It would.
Because I'm pretty sure Suda could make very funny Hulk hands.
Possibly the funniest Hulk hands.
Yes.
Where it's like, why did you put this in, you fucking idiot?
Then he makes a big Zam reference as he punches.
Yes. It's like, wait, so you got giant feet on your hands?
Oh man, that'd be really great. I think this may be the only game I've played possibly ever, or at very least very, very recently, where I'm like, we really need a director's cut. Because let's be real, director's cut ain't fixing Astral Chain.
No.
I'm trying to look at everything else. I guess I'm sort of asking for the same concept of a thing with Pokemon Sword and Shield, where we were hoping for the third one, you know?
Yes.
So that's sort of the same concept.
Right.
I didn't ask for that for Death Stranding, but I'm getting it, so that's cool.
Oh, no, I'm going to put it all in my mouth.
But yeah, I don't know. This game really screams to me, I need a director's cut to really fulfill my potential.
Mm-hmm.
And not
because 4 is probably going to be years, like 10 years off. He's already said that.
Well, at least we already know what Destroy Man will look like.
Yes, at least we already know what Destroy Man would look like. You know, I almost brought that in as a lightning round question for the Gamer Premonitions to be like, do you think this is in 3 or in 4 like he said it was? You think this man's bullshitting us right now? Should have done that. But then certain people on the committee let me know that they didn't look at a single trailer, and I was like, oh, that sounds like work. Now I'm going to have to post the picture, quote him verbatim.
Yep.
Never mind. Those are really good Gamer Premonitions. Even if you've already fucking beaten No More Heroes 3, go back, listen to that Gamer Premonitions. It's endlessly enjoyable.
Yeah, they were all right, by the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
And if they weren't right for 3, they're right for 4.
Yes.
We said that in the fucking episode.
That is true. If they did not announce a brand new indie game in No More Heroes 3, they'll do it in 4. At the very least, they said, hey, Marvelous also owns this game, so I guess this next here for the final battle.
It's really great.
Yeah, that I could not have seen that coming.
That ending is immaculate.
Yeah, that was really funny.
I was gone. Is that the mech from Damon X McKeenock? From publisher Marvelous?
You know, we still might have been right, because there's no guarantee that Takeshi Miike film isn't real. So we could still be right on the angle that they announced a movie in the game.
God.
You know, up there with the Daemon X Machina mech, next favorite moment is probably Gene just going, yeah, what? In the middle of the rap.
Yeah, I was going during what might be the most cringe and hilarious thing I've ever seen, the rap battle segment, where I was like, oh my God.
That was surprisingly delightful.
It's fucking incredible.
Yes, it was delightful in the way that maybe Space Jam 2 was not delightful with Porky Pig.
Don't fucking talk about Space Jam 2.
I will.
I find it fucking hilarious that it's just like Kimmy has these really well done raps that find interesting wordplay, and by the end, Travis is crashing and burning and just goes, "Fuck you."
And then his cat just goes, yeah. Which, God, I really like the Gene's just there with you the whole time.
Yes. I especially appreciate the intro where he's like, Gene, did you always sound like this? And he's like, yes.
Are you tweaking? I've always sounded like
I've always sounded like this.
And it's like, why are you knack?
Because it's perfect casting.
I was telling chat that it's like, God, if Gene was just Shax from Destiny, I would die.
Jesus Christ. I need to see if Lord Shax showed up in anything else doing that voice. That is a really good
Yeah,
voice.
just the idea that it's like, boysenberry. Hell yeah, Travis. Right on.
He's too positive, I feel like. Lord Shax's voice.
Yeah.
He's such a nice, positive reinforcement in a godless world, aka Destiny.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are no gods. There are robots.
Yep, and gameplay loops.
Yes. I'm gonna go hack that door.
I'm going to go pull up my map in front of that door and it'll make it open because Destiny 1 is definitely done. Has no weird problems. But I think it's about time we start wrapping this up. Are there any other anecdotes or specific criticisms or anything else any of you wanted to bring up? None of us have mentioned the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack is incredible.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah, I really like the sushi song especially, which then I found out was like, yeah, Suda just wanted to collab with these artists, so they made the sushi song.
Fun fact, the
course.
people who made the sushi song replied to one of our viewers who was talking about the sushi song so fucking incredible. They're like, thank you. I was like, yeah!
Yeah, some of them just shitpost on Twitter like whoever composed Gold Joe's song.
That's true, yeah. The person who composed Gold Joe's song cut it with Family Feud, the kill clip.
Oh, God, he did that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which someone's like, this is hilarious. Wait a minute, he made the Gold Joe theme song.
Good Lord.
You know, there's a lot of times that you see people in a meme way like base their identity off films they watch. They're like, oh man, Drive is just like me. I did not expect Henry Cooldown to be like, yo, Thor is just like me. I watched the movie Thor.
Well, it just reminded him of his little brother. That's all.
And then when he comes back and fucking after Travis Strikes Again and just goes like, this hit me like lightning. And I'm like, excuse me, really?
Shut the fuck. God, I hate you so much. I like that move you have where all the sword blades come up and start to go around in a circle. That's cool, but please go away.
I like it because I got hit by very little of his attacks and I kind of rinsed him. But he was like one of the cooler fights because it's just like, yeah, just a dude.
I brutalized him so bad.
Yeah, the only person who got it worse was Fu, where I ate the food that makes him stun easier as well as me throwing his big move back at him every time. So he was just like, stop. I did like 10 wrestling moves on him in one fight. Very cool though.
Anyone else think it's really weird that all the weird things that Travis's wife does at the end of each round, where she's Captain Marvel sometimes?
You mean when she has the lens flares and there's the Mass Effect ship and she's fucking flying?
She's Commander Shepard. She is Commander Shepard in that scene. Because she has the ship, she has lens flares for eyes.
It's so incredibly
that has
funny.
to be what they were going for.
I think they said the ship was literally directly from some other game. I can't remember what it was, but I looked it up right after. I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, our publisher owns this. We can do it.
Yep.
I feel like it was just like the more evolution, like the evolution of 1 and 2, where she's just always wearing some new stupid outfit. Mm-hmm. And when this is like, well, it's space, so she has some crazy shit going on in every one.
And then you hit the post credits animated scene at the very end. She's like, "Whatever, I can fly whenever I want."
She's Iron Man. Like I assume that had to be a Marvel thing because she says family war like Infinity War, and then flies like Iron Man.
Yeah, because it's the big post credits setup scene where it's like, whatever, Henry Cooldown will never die.
I want that game with starring the kids more than anything else ever. Did anybody else feel like the Travis keeps saying snap, oh snap during that ending sequence, which he says like 4 times? Did that remind anybody else of a South Park bit?
It reminded me very much of an old SNL animated bit. It was literally that.
All it did was remind me of That's So Raven.
Also, that's exactly what they did with Golden Joe early in the game, where he was saying all of that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was.
I don't expect like the end of that game just being Travis going, "Oh, schnibbity snap."
It's a callback.
It rhymes. All the scenes.
Just something about the way that Robert Atkin Downs says that kills me.
Yeah, he's
just something about it.
He's so wonderful.
Oh,
throughout
snippity snap! And I just fucking die.
Yeah, I like the way his eyebrows are always moving in that animation style, and so they make his grandson also do that when he takes off the mask.
Very panty and stocking-esque. That animation style.
Yeah, I can see it. I really appreciate the entire ending being like, well, Travis didn't get into Smash, so we'll put Smash in our game.
Yes,
that was so good. Like I was like, this is the final stop.
Yeah.
No, he says this is the last stop because it's Final Destination.
Yep. That shit was hilarious.
That was too perfect.
I also really liked how it seemed like he was going to come back for another phase, but then he just dies.
Yes.
Like his head appears and he's like, no.
They're like, no, this dude sucks. He will not get a traditional fight. You're good.
I thought the animation sequence showing the kids was pretty funny because it's like, now we don't have to now we can just change their designs however we want if we make a 4th game.
Yes.
They would never do that.
Like,
don't look at Kamui.
Don't look at Mr. Blackhole's assistant, person who doesn't show up in this game.
Director's cut.
Yeah, God, I'm just thinking about so many scenes are fucking hilarious in this where Fu's like, do it, and then just immediately hard cuts to the president's office and grabs his head.
Yes.
And it's running terribly, but it's so amazing.
Yes.
So we need a Travis Strikes Again 2 between this and the next game where we get Velvet Chair Girl back, right?
No, she doesn't want to live anymore.
She
I
was
lost musical chairs. I'm going to kill myself.
I'm like, yeah, that's a mood.
I'm really thankful for that musical chair segment just letting you continue from wherever you died because I wouldn't have beaten this game if that had not been the case.
Oh, yeah?
If they had made me start all... Because I died on the last one.
Oh.
Twice. Oh. And if they had made me start the whole thing over, I'd be like, okay, that's it.
Did you also forget that there was a run button?
Do you mean the musical chair part or the OMA part?
The musical chair part, not the OMA part.
Yeah.
Because if you die on the musical chair part, it lets you start from the round you were on.
I forgot about the run.
I died on the final round twice.
Yeah, I forgot about the run for like the first 2 cycles, and then I was fine. But I felt so good in that last segment where I'm like, I'm hitting every single one of these. This feels great. I'm in this perfect like rhythm. I never had this rhythm playing that Mario RPG race.
I just kept fucking up when it was time to run to the chairs because I kept forgetting to keep track of where I was.
Oh yeah, that was me on like the 3rd one where I'm like, up, wait, I'm on the left? What?
Yeah, that's because the camera, whenever the camera would shift, I would get lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was worried about this section because I'm really bad at rhythm games. So I was like, oh, good, it's really easy. Thank God.
Yeah, it's hyper cake.
Yeah.
If you made it this far, worth noting, Suda doesn't care if you buy a bootleg No More Hero shirt. Please go buy the goddamn superhero shirt.
It's a great shirt.
It's a really good shirt.
I really like the kill, like thank you
yes.
shirt. That I wore that most of the game.
I love the goddamn superhero in No More Heroes 3 get into a fight for the victory of logos.
Yes, that is really good. What a fucking delightful game. Please make a director's cut.
That, and of course, the fact that it has everything I need from an anime, including an intro, including the outro that sometimes has different music, and eye catches whenever the text adventure parts come in. Like, it's someone compared it like the Transformers, like switching from the Autobots to the Decepticons.
Yeah, it definitely feels more like one of those than an anime eye catch.
And I was telling people, I'm like, I wish they like recreated that, but then switched to goddamn superhero whenever they were going to jump over to Fu's side.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah, where they just they even steal the sound, but pitch it up slightly, which is usually their approach for anything they want to steal for this game.
Yep.
I also really appreciate that every single one of those segments about Miike films and in different animes, just giving me a list of things I need to watch.
Yeah, but one you don't need to watch, Terraformers.
Are you sure? They sound like they want
Yes,
me to watch.
yes, you do not need to watch Terraformers. I mean, maybe you could watch Terraformers if you want to watch the most racist movie ever made.
I mean, film appreciation courses make people watch The Birth of a Nation. So
Right.
I don't know. I'm supposed to believe there's some validity in that bullshit. There isn't.
Oh, okay.
Of course not.
They just want to show you racist shit and pretend we're better now.
They just want to be pretentious. They don't actually know anything because they work at a community college.
I'm just remembering how my community college film appreciation professor was like, yeah, Star Wars Episode 3 is great.
Holy shit! What? How have you never brought this up?
How you can bury this amazing nugget in
Holy
here?
shit, you gotta be kidding me. What the fuck?
That's the kind of shit that would be in a No More Heroes game.
Holy shit, what the fuck?
I'm sorry.
This is who Henry Cool Down learned about movies from.
Yes!
God, you know, if we had endless money, our spoiler cast would be the Mike segments with us cutting to different profile pictures as we speak of whoever it is.
I think each of those profile pictures was drawn by a different manga artist. I might be wrong, like the actual famous ones. Like, I think I might be wrong, but I saw people saying on Twitter and had a bunch of retweets, so it must be true.
Yeah.
That that Sylvia's was Rumiko Takahashi who did Ranma and Inuyasha.
Yeah,
Like that was Sylvia. That was the one for Sylvia's.
They all looked really good, so I wouldn't be too surprised. But yeah, I'd love to see a confirmation of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they all looked really good. And I like the one where they don't do anything for one segment. They're just asleep.
Yes. I appreciate all the different things you could do with Jean in your room, too. Like, playing with her was bad, but the things was like, okay, just pet her or like feed her that whatever the weird lick
weird
thing.
bar.
Yeah, it's a liquid treat.
Yeah.
It's like a little pate in a tube. That's cat treats nowadays.
I didn't actually do anything with Gene because I was afraid all of them were just that game. And after doing it once, I went, oh my God, what did they do?
Yeah, I don't know how they go from No More Heroes 2's amazing Gene minigames to that.
God, all those were great, especially the stupid rubbing one where it's like, this cat is nothing animes like this.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
incredible. Gene is directly like which direction is the stick turned in animation?
Yeah, it's just it's literally linked to Travis's hand model.
Yes,
That's
it's
it.
so good. It's incredible. I don't know how you went from that to this. That's very unfortunate.
Again, director's cut.
A director's cut, please. Please. Okay, I think we should wrap this up.
Probably.
Okay, so now we're going to do the part where we say a few sentences, like 3, maybe 4, who knows. And then we give it our score. We're going to go ahead and start with Mr. Feel.
I quite enjoyed this game. It runs really, really badly. That's my biggest problem with it. I'm gonna give it an 8. I think if you put this on a platform that could run it solidly and maybe at a fidelity higher than 720p, I'd probably give it a higher score. Especially if they do a director's cut that adds in 1 more hour of story, then it would definitely go up. But yeah, 8. I liked it quite a lot, except for the horrible performance.
Okay, now we'll move to Bob.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I feel like there's lots of parts in this game where it's like a 6 or a 7, like if you're exploring the world.
Yes. Or you're loading.
Or you're loading all the time. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with performance. But then the story is a 10 and the like presentation's immaculate.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna also sit on an 8. I feel like that's where I'm comfortable putting it. But again, it could go up if they do a re-release and fix things.
Okay, we're gonna move to KZ.
Yeah, I feel like in general the story and some of the cool fights you do really carry it for me, especially also the music. But the low points in this game really are just rough, like the performance on all of that. So I'm gonna be sticking on like an 8, but it's like a low 8. Once they actually get it on something else, it's probably like a high 8 for me, where I enjoyed my time with this.
Okay. Yeah, this game's super delightful. The combat, I genuinely enjoy it. I just wish the load times were better. I wish performance was better. I wish so many of the designs of this are amazing. I just want to see them. Period.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
The 720p with temporal anti-aliasing makes this one of the blurriest games I've ever played all the way through in the last 10 years. It's real rough. When the people from Digital Foundry are just like, maybe just don't even anti-alias at this point. I'm like, yeah, understandable. I would like to see some clean pixels. I would like this game to run well. I would like you to not put a filter on an entire map that makes it run bad.
There are definitely parts of this game where I'm like, do I have Vaseline in my eyes? What is going on?
You're playing a Switch game.
Yeah, this is...
No, it's worse, Casey.
Yeah,
There's parts of this that are much worse.
On the Switch, the only thing that leaps to mind that is worse than this immediately is Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, I just think of games that are on the Switch that are 720, where I'm just like,
a lot of those don't even have a temporal anti-aliasing to make them look blurry.
Yeah.
You get some harsh pixels a lot of the time from games like that. This is blurry in a way where it's like, yes, you're higher res than Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Congratulations. Like, damn.
Yeah, higher than 360p. Amazing.
You have a higher native resolution than the Vita. Congratulations.
Let's fucking go.
But yeah, this is a really delightful experience. I really want to play through it again. I wish the open world stuff felt better to collect all of, because there needs to be some ping system so you can easily find things in the environment, because holy shit, that radar's nuts and its range isn't far enough at all. I was a complete psychopath for trying to find everything with it, and it didn't even pan out remotely. So, having said that, yeah, I'm easily giving this game an 8, because the story and the combat is so enjoyable to me. It's like 10 out of 10 good story, 9 out of 10 combat, because I enjoy it that much. Do I think it's balanced? No, but I'm having fun, and that's all I care about here. They really need to release this on anything else. This is the worst it has ever been for me. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a single other game where I'm just like, please, anything. So that brings our score to a 32 out of a possible 40.
Is this the first one where where I'll give the exact same score, an 8?
No, that was also Ghost of Tsushima.
I was going to point out that is 2 other times, Ghost of Tsushima and Indivisible.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Are games where we went 8 across the board, and we've given the exact same score before, Bob. Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah.
That's true. We did all give those the same score as each other. Not the same score of 32. Yeah, no, this was a great game. I'm glad it came out. I'm glad that he got it made. Now just, put it on anything else, and it would be great if we got a director's cut. Like, I could definitely see this shooting up maybe even 2 points if we got a director's cut. Put it on anything else, though, it's a 9 in my book. But thank you very much for listening to the Spoilercast. If you'd like Spoilercasts like this, please go support us on Patreon, GigaBoots Podcast Network, and get some extra content. This month's GigaBoots executive producers are Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Starfalcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Dobo Muito Real, Ace Gundam Pilot Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, Zilter, and Virmvarn. Thank you very much to our executive producers. And also these gamers. If you want to be a gamer or ascend to God Kinghood, then head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots today.